didn't know it was a camera.
He went. Somebody
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. It is 5 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started today. It is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023, 5 p.m., and we will start our regular board meeting. I'll call our regular board meeting to order. Welcome to all of our guests who are with us this afternoon, to all of our staff, to all of my board colleagues, Dr. Stubblefield, and to everyone watching both here that are joining us in person or online. Welcome. We're glad to have you with us. We've got a packed agenda and lots of great things to discuss today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And as we do at every board meeting, I'll read our board norms and protocols. As a board, we agree to respect differences of opinions in making decisions for the district, to follow best practices in managing the superintendent and the management of the board itself, to stay on task when conducting business for the district, including while at board meetings, to never surprise the superintendent or each other when conducting official business of the district, to read these norms at the beginning of each board meeting and at board workshops as a reminder of how to conduct our meetings, and to continually self-check to determine if we're following our norms when conducting district business. Again, good afternoon, and it's great to see all of you with us this afternoon here at our board meeting. And with that, Ms. Smith, would you please do a roll call?
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark present.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, present.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries present.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, present.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, present.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, present.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen present.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And board, I would actually ask if, for a friendly amendment of our agenda, I'd ask for a motion to amend our agenda to add 2 executive sessions. You'll note on your agenda there's already one new executive session on personnel listed. I'm asking to amend to add an additional executive session on non-elected personnel, and also to add the minutes under the consent agenda, which are currently on their item I, and it's marked as new as well. They're the minutes from January 20th, 2023. So I'm asking for an amendment, for a motion to amend today's agenda to add 2 executive sessions and the January 20th minutes under the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions?
I just want to confirm that I'm understanding. You're asking to add an item B and C,
Under executive sessions?
and then for the minutes, you're putting them under letter I.
Yes, for under item number 4 for consent agenda, correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Another clarifying question. I do not see minutes under letter I.
They should be
I
under,
think the board docs view, like my, on this computer, I can't see it, but on my desktop, the little clock was there. So it may be something with board docs, but they are there. At least they were when I looked at it. Do you see them?
yeah, I see them under my consent agenda item I.
She's talking about the clock.
Oh,
To click on them.
I don't see them anymore.
He can't see them either, but there was something happening.
There was, because they were there
So I'm
earlier
hesitant
today.
to add I if I actually can't see the
Yeah.
meeting minutes, so I wonder if we can, I know it's
Yeah.
probably a quick read, or if I can say I, but if Leslie could email us the January 20 minutes while we're here, I
Sure.
would be fine with that. So Rachel, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, would you please email the board the January 20th minutes? They were there earlier today, and I don't see them now, and I'm not sure why. So if you wouldn't mind just emailing those to the board. Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Thank you.
Okay. Would now entertain a motion to approve today's amended agenda.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Motion passed. All right, so we're going to jump right into our agenda. Item number 2, for those of you keeping track on the agenda. Again, I know one of our board's favorite moments during our board meetings, we get to recognize several students and staff, and so just an exciting part. And today we have a full house, and it's always great to see so many folks in our boardroom to join us at a board meeting. We have a special treat this afternoon from our Arrowhead Middle School choir, who are here to treat us. And I'm going to actually ask Ms. Russell to introduce them or share a little bit about her experience and why they're here today.
Yeah, so I had the privilege last week to attend the Black History program at Arrowhead Middle School under the direction of Miss Hurley, and the vocal choir opened up the program with Lift Every Voice. And if you are not familiar, that is the Black national anthem. And so I thought, what a better opportunity. They sang so gracefully at that event, as well as did many other performers. We'd be here for 2 hours if we had everyone, but I'm excited to close out our Black History Month here on February 28th with a performance from the Arrowhead Choir. So I would invite you all to come in, friends, and share your musical talents with the crowd.
Ms. Russell, we usually stand.
We'll stand when they sing. Once they get started.
If everyone would stand, wouldn't mind, please stand. Thank you. Thank you all for attending, taking a few moments out of your busy evenings to be here with us all tonight. We greatly appreciate you and your performance. This is just a reminder of how important arts and music is in the public education experience. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Russell, and thank you again to all of our students. What a beautiful way to start our board meeting. So thank you for the invitation and the kind words and sharing of your experience. Appreciate that. We will continue with our agenda with our celebrations. I would ask Dr. Sutherland to the podium as we celebrate our Employee of the Month.
Good evening, Randy Lopez, Board President, Dr. Stubblefield, Superintendent, all Kansas City, Kansas Public School Board members, and all who serve Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Dr. Sutherland, Human Resources Director for Early Childhood and Elementary, and I have the pleasure of recognizing tonight Employees of the Month. First, I must let you all know we will recognize all the teachers and the students, and once their names are announced, they will join us in the front for a picture. Our communications team will capture a picture for social media and web page recognitions. After all of the recognitions, we will have a short break, and we will have 3 photos. The first being with the student, the superintendent, and the board. The second, we will ask the nominating staff and supervisor or principal to join. The third, we would ask for our families that are here to support the group. At this time, our first Employee of the Month is Mr. Albino Ambrosio. If you come to the front, please. He works in our transportation department. He is currently a bus driver, and he was nominated by Miguel Martin. Mr. Ambrosio has been a driver for over 15 years. He has had perfect attendance these past several years. He is always one of the first people to step up whenever we need help. His bus route is always on time. He has an outstanding relationship with every coworker, students, and families. There has never been a time where we had to ask him for help where he has not been available. Mr. Ambrosio is a model of a 5-star service and delivering inspiring excellence in every grown-up, every child, and every day. Please help me congratulate Mr. Albino Ambrosio. Our next Employee of the Month is Ms. Stacy McDowell. If she could come to the front, please. She works in our nutrition department, our central kitchen assistance manager. She was nominated by Ms. Ruchi Favreau. I am so thrilled to nominate Ms. Stacy McDowell to be recognized as the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools Employee of the Month. She deserves recognition for embodying the true meaning of being a team player. Stacy consistently finds her way to assist her team members unprompted during staffing shortages. Despite her regular workload, her willingness to provide technical support at different buildings is unequaled. Stacy's efforts benefited the entire department and the district. She has set an example and inspired her employees her coworkers to stay proactive. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Stacy McDowell. Tonight, we have a special recognition for the Employee of the Month, and our special recognition employees is Ms. Tracy Cooper. If she could come to the front. She is currently an instructional coach. We are excited to recognize our instructional tiered coach, Tracy Cooper, for serving as the coordinator of the Wyandotte County Spelling Bee competition. This was her 4th year as the coordinator. Each year, Cooper makes sure the event is well organized and that communication and support for elementary and middle schools in the Wyandotte County is there for the students. Cooper works tirelessly behind the scenes, making sure the competition happens, but she also knows the annual spelling bee goes beyond the competition. Cooper said, as a literacy specialist, I appreciate the importance of students having a deep understanding of the structure and meaning of language. This event gives students a place to specifically demonstrate and celebrate their knowledge and skill with spelling. This year's bee was a success. We mostly appreciate seeing our diverse community coming together to encourage and celebrate the academic achievements of our children. Congratulations to everyone who competed in this spelling bee. But we are honored to have Tracy as a member of the team, and we recognize you tonight as the special employee. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Tracy Cooper.
Good evening, Board President Lopez, members of the Board of Directors, and Superintendent Dr. Anna Stubblefield. I'm excited to present our USD 500 Students of the Month for February 2023. Jesse Owens said, "Find the good. It's all around you. Find it, showcase it, and you'll start believing in it." Our February honorees are definitely going to make you a believer in the good within USD 500. Our students for Students of the Month have been recommended and nominated under 6 domains: either attendance recognition, outstanding academic performance, positive behavior, commitment to service and citizenship, scholarship and/or community recognition, and outstanding athletic achievement. Our first Student of the Month, representing our early childhood students, is none other than Emery Patterson with Kansas City, Kansas Early Childhood Center. Emery is an early childhood scholar. Every day she does a fantastic job of connecting with her peers, and Emery was nominated by Katie Miller Lopez, a teacher at KCKPS. She states Emery is a star student every day. She goes out of her way to make sure other students are happy and is always willing to help solve a problem. She has such a positive outlook on things and a great attitude in class. Emery is very congenial and loves to make new friends in the classroom. In addition to being an exemplary student for kindness, Emery has mastered all of her pre-kindergarten skills and is ready to head to the kindergarten classroom. Some fun facts about Emery: she says she loves going to school and learning her alphabet, being with best friends, playing outside, and her favorite food is vegetables and fruits. I'm going to take that lesson from Emery. Our second Student of the Month, representing our elementary students, is Joseph Ellis. Joseph is a 5th grade student at Quindaro Elementary School, and he was nominated in a special way by 3 educators at Quindaro under the pillar of positive behavior. Ms. Robbins said Joseph is utilizing his self-management skills when he's frustrated. He's willing to talk through situations and always find the positive solutions. He is always focused on completing his work and willing to help others. He is striving to be a leader at all times and not a follower. Ms. Abby Cole remarked, Joseph has made incredible gains since the start of his journey at Quindaro. He is an amazing advocate for himself. He seeks relationships with those around him. While he has had amazing teams and educators working with him, he has made great gains in his 4th and 5th grade years. This can be seen in his self-improvement, but also in his academic progress as he rises to the top of the school. Miss Amy Otto said that she is amazed at the incredible growth that he's made in the domain of social-emotional learning. She states that with support in place and using a restorative justice approach in the classroom, he is successful and makes positive behavior choices every day. Congratulations, Joseph. Fun fact about him is he loves hanging with his family when he is not at school, and he likes going to Quindaro because he's always learning new things. Congratulations. Our middle school student of the month is none other than Bristol Rosales Pedroso. Bristol is a 7th grade student at Arrowhead Middle School and was nominated by the 7th grade team for outstanding academics. Dr. Melissa Halstead remarked Bristol is an amazing, hardworking, focused student who puts 100% effort into every task that she's presented with. She completes her work well and goes above and beyond what is expected. She demonstrates respectful interactions toward adults and peers. She seemingly brings a sense of peace and calm to the school environment. She carries herself very well and shows respect for those around her. Bristol's attitude is an important quality to the 7th grade team, especially after the pandemic because so many students experience anxiety. Having Bristol's smile and friendly demeanor puts everyone at the school at ease. It is an honor for the Arrowhead Middle School 7th grade team to nominate Bristol for Student of the Month. Fun facts about Bristol is she loves science, she likes drawing, and she's going to be a detective. Representing our high school for Student of the Month is none other than Daquan Cheadle. Daquan is a senior at F.L. Schlegel High School, and he's being nominated under the pillar of Outstanding Academics. His counselor, Angela Carroll, said, "He astonishes me daily juggling his internship, high school and college coursework, sports activities, and working part-time. Daquan is determined to attend college and find the right fit in his educational journey. He's applied to over 30 universities and colleges this year. Most importantly, what stands out is that he is genuinely an empathetic and kind person." Daquan was awarded a sought-after and extremely competitive year-long internship at Cerner Corporation through the school's biotech program. He's also been enrolled in dual-credit college courses. Prior to that, Daquan chose to engage in the honors and pre-AP courses that the school offers. He does not shy away from a challenge. Aside from academics, he also seeks out leadership opportunities. He participates in football, wrestling, National Honor Society, Student Council, and Jobs for America's Graduate. He is also an active community volunteer in the Urban Rangers Corps. Congratulations, Daquan.
Yeah.
Daquan has chosen co-college, and he is going to go into software development, so he's putting the skills to use. And tonight I'm honored because we have 4 additional special recognitions for Students of the Month. Our first special recognition goes to Avia Pugazindi, who is our Spelling Bee winner for the Wyandotte County Spelling Bee. Ovia is a 5th grade student at Frank Rushton. She is the champion of the 2023 Wyandotte County Spelling Bee competition. She will complete in the Sunflower State Spelling Bee at Newman University in Wichita on March 25th. Ovia said, "The competition was nerve-wracking. I really didn't think I was going to win because it seemed like there were a lot of kids there. But through it all, she came out on top, and she competed against 35 other students from Turner, Piper, Bonner Springs, Edwardsville, and KCKPS.
All right.
When asking Ovia about it, she said she practiced a lot to prepare. Her advice for students that want to compete in the spelling bee in the future is not hard if you try, and she is thankful for all of the staff at Frank Rushton for supporting her and encouraging her every day. Congratulations, Ovia. Our last three for special recognition is a trifecta. That trifecta represents 3 of our USD high school students from Wyandotte, Washington, and Schlegel, who are young women who have represented their schools at the state wrestling tournament for the very first time in the school's history. It is only right that we recognize these trailblazing students under the pillar of outstanding athletic achievement. Our first student is Brianna Neal from Washington High School. Brianna is a junior and competed in the 190 weight class. She is 33-6 overall and has placed in the top 3 in every tournament this school year. A quote given about her is, "She is the perfect example of hard work that pays off. From a freshman to junior, she has put in the work each week to become the best." And Brianna said this is an exciting time for her, being the first at her school and bringing recognition as a young lady in the wrestling tournament. Congratulations, Brianna. Our second nominee is Emily Velasquez from F.L. Schlegel High School. Emily is a freshman and competes in the 155 weight class. She is 28-7 and has placed in the top 3 in every tournament this season. It's noted by her coach that she is always learning and asking questions on how to become better. The energy that she gives out is unmatched by any of her competitors. One thing about Emily, she said, is that she is excited to be a trailblazer, leading the way, and now other young ladies at her school are interested in this unique field. Congratulations, Emily. Our third student is Amunique Johnson from Wyandotte High School.
Yeah.
Amunique is a senior and competes in the 115 weight class with an overall record of 6'5". A quote about Ms. Johnson: "This may be her first year wrestling, but Amunique is a tenacious wrestler on the mat. It is amazing what she has accomplished after being injured at the beginning of the season and making a full recovery over winter break." Amunique said it's an overwhelming and outstanding honor to be in this space, and she is glad to lead the way for other young ladies who are interested in wrestling. And we see Amunique brought the Bulldog crew with her.
Hey, hey, hey.
Congratulations, Amunique.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sutherland, and thank you, Dr. Wilson, and again, to the entire committee that helps us to recognize all of our employees and students of the month. So thank you to everyone that participates and coordinates. It's always one of the great times of our board meeting, and we could probably just end the meeting there, right? So don't go away. We're going to take a quick recess in order to take pictures with each of our employees and students of the month, family members. This is the time for you to grab pictures as well. We'll try to coordinate the board. We're going to try to take a 20-minute, try to do this in 20 minutes, and board just so that we can try to be efficient. We're also going to go into executive session right after the recess. So I'd entertain a motion to recess to executive session for consultation with the attorney on matters which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship under COMA with potential action to follow, going in at 5:51 for 5 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Jenny Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Andy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Doing yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board, I'd invite you. Motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to recess to executive session, discuss matters of non-elected personnel in order to protect the privacy interests of the parties involved in Tacoma, going in at 6 o'clock for 10 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Rachel Russell.
Rachel Russell, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are back in open session. At this time, we will not need the third executive session, but I would entertain a motion to approve the first hearing officer's report.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the second hearing officer's report.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item is item number 4, our consent agenda. Just for clarity, thank you, Ms. Smith, for emailing those minutes to the full board. So board, you should have those in your email as well. Would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda tonight.
Mr. Lopez, I'd like to set aside H, like happy.
Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda minus item H.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Dr. Nguyen, did you have a specific question on item H?
It just says it's a renewal of a 3-year contract. Was that contract executed in 19 or 20? And where would I find that contract? I mean, the details of what it entails.
If the previous contract was 3 years ago, it would have been in the 1920 school year when it came. So I was not here. The contract probably, Mr. Carell can send it to you, but I did notice that there were some contracts that were housed in the board library. So the board would have approved it in 1920.
Right, so could we have it sent to the library?
Or, yeah, I can have it sent directly to you. I don't know
It can go to
currently-
the library,
Okay,
so for review of the entire board.
yes.
Great. Thank you. We'll make sure that contract gets uploaded to the board library.
And so moving forward, where would we find contracts that we're renewing?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just, thanks for that question, Dr. Nguyen, because I actually had a conversation around contracts recently, and I think that's something for perhaps the board to have a conversation on. I do believe that all contracts ultimately live with Wayne, and I don't want to speak it, and I see him nodding his head. So once the contract is signed by both the board, district representative, and the vendor, the contract ultimately stays with Wayne. I did have a conversation with Ms. Smith because I was looking for contracts in the board library, and at this time, not all of the contracts are on the board library for vendors or contracts that we have with vendors. There's an issue with space, storage space, to be able to upload everything within board docs, and I think the practice has been that all contracts ultimately live with and reside with Wayne in that office, and that board members or staff could request it. So I think it's a conversation for us to have. I did chat with Ms. Smith about, can we create a tab to have all contracts and within board docs? So that's something for us to figure out moving forward.
So I do want to clarify, there is a tab with contracts, and there are some contracts in there, and I think with some of the transition and turnover that either wasn't made clear or the expectations around that. But there is a tab in the library right now with contracts, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Russell?
So I think kind of in my mind how I envision this, because I think this is not the only contract that has come up and we're not sure. If there's a space issue, I think that potentially when we know that we're renewing contracts or we're looking at contracts for the first time, they should be housed there. So if that means taking something else out, at least I can have the information readily available to evaluate both the price differential increase, what have you, but also to compare the two. My second thought is around we continue to have this conversation around how we better increase student achievement as well as student content and those types of things. And so I am putting it into the air that we can talk about at a later time, but I think we also need some type of documentation, because I do believe we have a lot of contracts for resources that we're utilizing, but I'm not sure that I am seeing the ROI, return on investment, or the connection to student achievement to reach our goals that we are wanting to achieve. I'm not saying specifically in my perspectives. I have seen some of the takeaway sheets that you can utilize in this program. But I think overall, as we continue to go into make deals in three-year contracts, that we also need to have some understanding of how it's benefiting our students. Because if it's not, I am one who is not in favor of that. And so I would like to see how these things are actually benefiting students. And so it's a hefty amount, and so that's important.
Yep, we hear you, and I think what we can do in the future is attach the previous contract to the item.
Okay.
And then remember, the board did approve SWAY 360 that shows us the utilization. And so that data, we're in the process of cleaning up, but there was a lot of, but there's a lot of cleanup on the backside. But in the interim, these contracts are expiring, and it's been shared. There are some areas that it's believed that we don't have curriculum, so until we have time to do the review, to do the things, some of the things that were in place we'll have to keep in place. But I think that's something that the academic committee, we can lay out all the academics and all those contracts. So I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I also believe that we can't buy things if we don't have the professional development in order to make sure that they're executed well. And I think depending on different perspectives, who you talk to, you hear the different voices of what is working and what's not. The data on the math pilot was very helpful to see the teacher voice, to see how they've been using it across the different platforms. And so I think just how can we take some of our other learned lessons to continue to look at it as it relates to student achievement. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Additional questions?
Is this the same amount?
I'm sorry?
Is this the same amount as it was executed in 2020?
Cost.
Do we know, and I'm looking, don't see if we know what the amount was, the cost was back in 2019, 2020? The same? I see someone nodding that yes, it is the same amount.
Thank you.
Thank you. Additional questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve item H?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes?
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item, item number 5, we will hear from our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a few quick reminders. First, I want to just say this week, February 27th through March 3rd, is Public Schools Week. Public Schools Week honors the over 51 million students 3.2 million teachers, and hundreds of thousands of specialists, administrators, and support staff working in public schools today. In KCKPS, we honored over 20,000 students and nearly 4,000 staff. Join us in celebrating Public Schools Week and all the individuals who hold a significant role in helping our students grow, learn, and achieve. This is just a reminder that tomorrow we encourage you to join us for a panel discussion and resource fair on Wednesday, March 1st at J.C. Harmon High School from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Our Enough is Enough program will have several community organization, district administration will also be present to bring awareness and conversations centered around mental health and gun violence. Event is open to all, and dinner will be provided for those in attendance. We also want to remind everyone that this Saturday, March 4th, the Human Resource Department will be holding a career fair here. It will be from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then this Saturday, March 4th in the afternoon, the board will be hosting their listening and learning session from 1 to 3 at Wyandotte High School. As we close out Black History Month, I want to thank all the principals, staff, and students that hosted Black History Month programs to honor the triumphs and struggles of African Americans throughout the American history. I had the privilege of participating in several of the events and appreciate the members of the community for joining our schools and the districts in the celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stubblefield. Just a couple of, again, you reminded everyone about the listening and learning session this Saturday, so we hope to see as many of you out there at 1 p.m. at Wyandotte High School. Just one quick shout out. I did have the opportunity, along with Chief, to present to the Justice and Equity Coalition led by Dr. Evelyn Hill this past week, and it was a great conversation just around supporting our district. There are plenty of folks out there, plenty of organizations that want to help and support our students and work with the district. And Chief, I thought it was an excellent opportunity for us just to have a conversation about how folks can engage. So thank you to the Justice and Equity Coalition for that invitation. And one great opportunity, as Dr. Stubblefield shared, is tomorrow night at the Enough is Enough for resource fair and panels. So with that, I'll open it up to the board if there are other items you would like to share out. Dr. Nguyen?
Saturday, 8 a.m., there will be via Zoom a KASB board meeting that I'll attend.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. Ms. Page?
Yeah, I had the opportunity Saturday to attend the Blacks in Government dinner that was sponsored by the Kansas City, Kansas employees, which was excellent. Ms. Drew, myself, Janie, and a few others. And then on Thursday, I went to Wyandotte. And I want to thank the administrative staff, the teachers, the janitorial, nutrition, everyone there. And they were extremely kind. I spent time in the cafeteria. I wanted to talk to the kids to see how they felt. And a lot of them were hurt because they didn't like the bullseye being on them, and they wanted to know what we were going to do to help them. And I tried to assure them that we're in the process, we're working on things, and it's not just their school, because one thing about society, our society is sick, and schools are element of our society. So we have some problems, but we got to have some solutions, and we got to work on things. But I want to thank them for allowing me to visit and to talk to the kids, talk to the teachers, and we got a lot of work to do. And we got to try to get others to come and help us so that we can make sure our schools are safe and that young people are learning. And that's important. It doesn't matter what school, they should be safe, everyone in that school, and everyone should, if the teachers are teaching, the kids are learning, staff is working, whatever department, we want everyone to feel safe. And I'm proud of them. They're trying to persevere. They know they have issues. They're not trying to run away from it. But they need help. We need to help them. And I know we're doing some things, but we still got a lot more to do. And they were concerned because they invited, now if the news media is listening, hey, come in and visit. Because some people, when I said I was going, you're going? I went to school there. I grew up here. I still live here. And I'm proud of my community. We have issues, but we're working to get better, and we have to keep working to get better. And the young people, they're looking to us for help, and they're going to do their part. Their teachers, their administrators are trying. We got a lot of work to do in all of the schools, not just Wyandotte. I also was fortunate to work with Quindaro. We did a Black Inventors Unit for the entire school. We focused on Garrett A. Morgan, who invented the stoplight. We focused on Benjamin Banneker, who created the layout for Washington, D.C., Madam C.J. Walker, and the entire school participated. Each grade level did something different, and I had the privilege of working with Ms. Little's kindergarten class, and we had a lot of fun. And they come with a lot of energy, and we don't want to lose that. And I want to thank Principal Dez for allowing me to come in. And then at the Friends of Yates, their Black Excellence Program, they recognized 2 of our employees, Mr. Tyler and Mr. Julius Brownlee. So that was a good program. It was good to see some of our staff involved in that and some of the programs they're involved in. So this month has been good. I encourage everyone, let's go to Wyandotte, let's go to Harmon, let's go to all the schools. Some of you are doing that, but they need our support, and we need to help them as much as we can.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. Page. Appreciate all that. Thank you. Additional board members?
So I had the opportunity to go to alumni night at Washington versus Wyandotte, and I am a fellow Wildcat, so that was exciting. My daughter also goes there, and I was able to see several of our alumni. I see one in the back. But then I also spent some time and received an invitation from Eisenhower. I know Dr. Stubblefield was there with me as well, and I received the invitation from Ms. Tribbett, so thank you. I also attended Eisenhower all 3 years, and the theme was I Am Black History. So to be able to speak to the students about what's not, everything is possible, so don't take anything or decide that anything is not possible in your life. That's my update.
All right, I'd like to say that I went to the J.C. Harmon Sports Hall of Fame, where they were honoring previous athletic people who were there, and then after which we went to the basketball game. I had the privilege of attending West Park Elementary School to see the All-City Children's Chorus, and they were excellent, and they're getting ready to take a trip to highlight their skill. And at some point, I think it would be good to have them here to perform at the board meeting. I also attended the Black History Program at Arrowhead, where the Mayor Garner was the speaker. I went to Benjamin Banneker, and then I also attended the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Just want to make sure that and looking at everything today in relation to what we're doing as a board, I just want to take the time to thank the HR department for the diligent work that they have done in recruiting staff for our school district. There are so many job opportunities that are available in our district, and I see that they are moving forward in a very positive way to engage and recruit for our district. So I just wanted to take this time to say thank you for all that you all do. Just wanted to make sure that we recognize some of our youth in going to the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Our own Rachel Russell's daughter was singing with Sumner Academy group that did the national anthem at that particular program. But I think that we are finding very positive things going on within our school district. We're moving in the right direction, and I'd just like to encourage us to continue to do so and continually support each and every one. We hear from everybody, but it's a way into helping us to be able to get where we need to be. And the more we move forward, the better we're going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Mr.
Drew.
Lopez,
Yes.
forgive me, and charge it to my head, not my heart. I forgot to mention that I went to Wyandotte and Washington's girls' basketball game and had a good time. It was just the class of 84, 74, and 91 were represented, the alumni. And it was an excellent game, and you could tell the girls are improving. And just want to shout out to the coach, Mr. Stump, that he did an excellent job and real proud. And also, I got there late, but I know Ms. Humphries and Ms. Russell, and it was someone else, because he said 4 board members had come to Banneker Elementary School. They had a phenomenal Black History program, and they really did a super job. I caught the very tail end of it, but I got a chance to talk and visit with them. So they did an excellent job as well.
That's great. Thank you, Ms. Page, for sharing. Any other board members? Ms. Russell, please.
We was busy, y'all. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I just wanted to say it has been a complete pleasure to, throughout the month, go to many different programs, to see many different things happening. And I think we are a very active board, as you have said multiple times. But I think it speaks volumes when folks can see us in the buildings and when they see us at events, not just our events. So that has been, I've heard nothing but really great feedback about just our presence. And so I hope that that's something we can maintain and continue to do. And I would just echo Ms. Drew's sentiments that I truly did appreciate having our chorus here. I always appreciate seeing our athletes here. But however, we can kind of weave in some of those untraditional things that we see here at our board. I think that's so important. And I also think that it just reinstills in our students that they do shine and that we see them. Secondly, I just wanted to give my kudos and thanks and gratitude. Every time this board asks for students or for different things, Mr. Wilson and his team really make it happen, whether it be the student of the month, whether it be a big old program, whatever it is, him and his team always answer the call. And so I just wanted to give kudos and congrats and thank you for all of the work that you are doing to continue to celebrate our students. Today was a reminder of why we are here. But also, I want to recognize that March is the month of women, and so I look forward to celebrating all the beautiful women here in our district that serve us and support student achievement and all of those things, as well as in my closing comment, I will just say Friday is Employee Appreciation Day, and so I am starting to sound like a broken record, but I truly, truly mean it, that I appreciate every staff member, every teacher, every support staff, every custodian, everyone that plays a role in making sure that we are the best district in the world. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Russell, for all of that. And you're right, this board is busy, and I know several of you and us are going to be out on Thursday at Literacy Day reading at different schools, so there's no shortage of opportunities. So thank you, board members, for everything that you're doing all the time that you give. Additional comments? Okay. Thank you. We'll continue on with our agenda. Next up is our community comment section. Again, anyone is welcome to provide community comment. Just please make sure you check in with Ms. Smith, our board clerk, in order to sign up for community comment. I do not see Ms. Jamia Warren, who is our first community comment. I will just add that this is around some basketball hoops. I know you can see it on the agenda. I'll add board for your information. I think you all may have been copied on it. I know staff and leadership have contacted Ms. Warren and are working through some of the items that she had asked about, and including providing some basketball goals at some of our schools. So I know, thank you to all the staff who is currently and who has been addressing some of those questions that she had for the board and was going to bring tonight.
So I don't know that we all have been CC'd, and so did we purchase the hoops like we said we would, or would you like to follow up in an email?
I can provide an update in the email.
Okay.
Yeah, I know staff had reached out to her and we're working on what that would look like, so thank you. All right, and I don't believe our second person is here either, so we will continue on with our agenda. Next on our agenda item number 7. These items, board, have come to the board previously and are up for potential action if it is the board's will. If you recall, items A and B on agenda item number 7 are the school district calendars. Board, if you recall at the last board meeting, there was an initial motion and a second to not approve the calendars, and then there was a subsequent substitute motion to table these items, which was approved. Because they were tabled, they're back on the agenda today. My request and in conversation with staff and administration is that the committee, as requested and in discussion from the board at the last board meeting, the committee still needs a little bit of additional time to gather some of the feedback from staff and families, and that was going really well. So our request tonight would be that those who made the initial motion to not approve the calendars at the last meeting, if we could withdraw that motion and that second, that way these two items can go back to the committee, they can continue to work through their process, and then those calendars will come back at a later meeting. And Mr. Goheen, did I say that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way to handle this, because we had a pending motion that was tabled, and because the administration and the committee are still working on the calendars that were going to be voted one way or the other on, I think make more sense to withdraw the current motion, and then when the new calendar recommendations come forward, the board could take action on the final recommended calendar, rather than on the ones that are in front of you.
Well, I made the motion. I'll withdraw the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Page. I believe Ms. Clark, you had seconded.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement to withdraw the motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. So the motions that were on the floor have been withdrawn. Are there questions or thoughts on either item A or B? What will happen is now the committee will continue to work on these two items. They will come back at a subsequent board meeting for potential approval of the board, but I know the committee's still working. But if there are questions, want to make sure we have that time. Ms. Russell?
So are we thinking like the March 28th meeting? Because there was a sense of urgency to approve the calendar. So now our next board meeting isn't till the end of the next month. So then I'm not wondering whether or not there's no longer a sense of urgency, but that was one of the reasons why we tabled it the last time.
So there's still a sense of urgency. I know Mr. Lopez reached out to you all about a potential special board meeting on March 13th. And since the committee is following the process that they had in previous years, we were hoping to add it to that one, but giving the board the information prior to that with the percentage of staff input that supports whatever calendar that's going forward.
Additional questions? Okay. Thank you. So we will,
I'm sorry.
No, Ms.
They're going
Page.
to let us know if this is together before the 13th.
Right, so right now, and Dr. Campbell and Mr. DeRosa are here, they're sending it out and staff basically, they'll send it out this next week and staff will basically give input to what comes forward they are giving input on the two options, and what comes forward will be what majority of staff supports. Yeah, so we will provide an update. What we'll do in the end of the week, this week, I can share with you the two options that the staff is looking at.
Thank you.
great. Thank you. Additional questions? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to item C. It is recommended that the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education approve the contract for the Panorama SEL and MTSS platform. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there questions or further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries, Janie, yes. Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, no.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Win, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item letter D. It is recommended that the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education approve the dual language program launch in the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools as submitted by Ms. Jacqueline Rodriguez, Dr. Jermaine Wilson, Dr. Judith Campbell, and as recommended by Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries.
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item, it is recommended that the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education approve the contract with Hanover Research as submitted by Dr. Zachary Conrad and Dr. Judith Campbell, and as recommended by Dr. Anna Stubblefield.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next-
Mr. Lopez.
Yes, Ms. Russell.
No,
Okay.
it's okay, never mind.
Okay, thank you. Our next agenda item, letter F, it is recommended that the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education approve the purchase of new connected devices for K through 8 students for the cost of $11,124,435 over the course of 3 years, with the cost of $5,793,795 in the first year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions or discussion?
I just have one question.
Yes, Dr. Nguyen, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. It says year one will be paid from portion from ESSER funds. So then will year 2 and 3?
Year 2 and 3 will not be out of ESSER. There's the current technology department budget will cover years 2 and 3. It's built into what's allocated within their budget.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Additional questions? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Just a statement I will make before my vote. I am not for this proposal for multiple reasons. I do not believe that our district has a technology plan that provides adequate professional development to our staff. I believe that we purchase items. I understood the question and how it was answered. However, that is not supporting our staff. However, has to implement these things. So I am voting no on this item.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item number 8, board, this is new business. We have one new business item, the solution tree informational item around the solution tree proposal. Would open the floor if there are any questions. There's information in board docs around this, but if there are any questions, we can open the floor for questions on this item. There's no action being requested of the board tonight. And as always, please feel free to send any questions that come up as you are continuing to read through this, or any information that is sent to you around this item. If there are questions, please let us know. All right, thank you. Item number 9 on the agenda. Tonight, we will hear a board report around our KISA Year 5 accreditation outside visitation team update. So Mr. Matt Anderson is at the podium. Good evening, Mr. Anderson.
Good evening. Give me 1 second while I find it. That is not the one I want. I believe this is the one here. Okay, good evening, Mr. President Lopez, Vice President Clark, Board of Education, Dr. Stubblefield, it's great to be with you this evening. It's been a minute, so it's good to see everyone tonight. Myself, along with Dr. Stubblefield, Dr. Campbell, Lisa Walker, We've been working alongside a great group of leaders here in the district, both at the building and the district level, to coordinate our district's KCKPS accreditation efforts. And tonight, on behalf of that team, I'd like to provide you with an update regarding our KCKPS process. So for those who don't know, KCKPS actually stands for Kansas Education Systems of Accreditation. It's a 5-year cycle in which all Kansas school districts must engage in. Each year in the cycle, districts respond to a set of questions that result in an annual report to document the district's efforts and progress. At the end of a 5-year cycle, the district's progress over that entire cycle is reviewed by the Accreditation Review Council, also known as the ARC. The ARC then makes a determination on whether the district is accredited, conditionally accredited, or unaccredited. And as you know, KCKPS is currently in year 5 of the 5-year cycle. And so in the next few months, we will know what our determination is here in KCKPS. In addition to the annual report, districts also participate in a review with the outside visitation team, or another acronym, the OVT. We are in the final stages of preparing for that visit, and that will occur on Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. All of you have received a copy of the OVT agenda for that visit, and you can see that it's a very tightly structured day where we'll have an opportunity to showcase all of the great work that's occurring here in the district, and it'll be presented by our staff and possibly some students. Because it's year 5 and it's our final year in the accreditation cycle, we're not going to be visiting any of our campuses this year. In collaboration with our OVT chair, we determined that the time will need to be allowed for dialogue between our OVT as well as our district leadership team to talk through the progress that we've made over the last 5 years. Again, this year, our outcome leaders and champions are going to highlight the work that's occurring in the 5 results areas as well as in the foundational structures. We would invite the Board of Education to join us that day to listen to the interactions between the KCKPS OVT as well as our district leadership team. And I want to thank a couple of our board members tonight that joined us last year. I think Dr. Nguyen joined us, and so did Mr. Lopez. So we'd invite all of you to join. It's a great opportunity to hear the work that's happening and then also hear the feedback from our OVT on how we can continue to grow here in the district. Our OVT is made up of educational practitioners from districts across the state of Kansas, as well as from some of our state educational organizations. All of these individuals have completed the OVT training, and as you can see, some of them actually represent some of the larger school districts in the state of Kansas, as well as some of the districts that mirror the demographics of Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. In this KCKPS accreditation process, all districts are required to address the 8 foundational structures that are circled at the bottom, as well as the 5 results areas that are listed right below the results section. And those are social emotional factors, kindergarten readiness, individual plans of study, high school graduation, and post-secondary success. The districts are also asked to address 2 of the evidence-based practices that they determined at the beginning of their accreditation cycle. KCKPS, at the beginning of the cycle, chose relationships and relevance. Next, I'm just going to walk through a bit of what we will be discussing with the OVT. First, Lisa Walker will be discussing some of the work around our KCKPS relationship goal. And a lot of that work is around the social emotional factors, as well as culture and climate within our buildings and at the systems level. I will be providing some of our work and showcasing the work around our relevance goal, which is all focused on the academics and ensuring that our students are prepared for college and careers when they leave Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. Our social emotional learning work is led by our results owners, Dr. Jermaine Wilson and Ms. Tracy Chauvin from the Student Supports Department. They will be joined by two champions, Dr. Desiree Albritton from Quindaro Elementary, and then also Connor McFarland from Arrowhead, to discuss the work that we're doing with social emotional learning that's impacting our students in the classroom. Kindergarten readiness is led by our results owners, Dr. Amy Washington, Executive Director of Elementary Schools, as well as Dr. Megan Cook, our Director of Early Childhood. And they'll be joined by our two champions, Miss Amber Block from our early childhood, or one of our early childhood instructional coaches from North Central Office, and then Miss Zanetta Bowles from Silver City Elementary. They'll be sharing some of the work that we're doing in the community, as well as what's happening in our early childhood and elementary buildings to ensure that our youngest learners are prepared for kindergarten. For individual plans of study, our leaders, our results owners are Dr. Kristen Scott and Miss Lisa Martinez, our Assistant Director of Diploma Plus. They'll be joined by Miss Lila Stone from J.C. Harmon and Dr. Ileana Farney, Principal at Central Middle, to discuss how we are developing those plans so that they are ready for that post-secondary success and that they're ready for those CTE pathways when they get into our high school classrooms. High school graduation, our outcome leaders for this area are Dr. LaShonda Bilbo Irvin and Mr. Marquis Stewart, both Executive Directors of Schools. We will have 3 champions for this one. The third one's not listed. We are still working on identifying that person. But 2 of those champions are Mr. Kolomaya and Miss Mary Stewart, both principals at a couple of our high schools here in the district, where they can talk about what we're doing at our high schools to put processes and procedures in place to ensure that our high school students have the credits necessary for graduation. And then our elementary or middle school champion will discuss that pipeline, the scope of work that happens beyond just what happens in our high schools to prepare students for graduation. Finally, for post-secondary success, our outcome leader is Dr. Danira Fernandez Flores, the Executive Director of Diploma Plus College and Career Instructional Programs. It just rolls right off the tongue. And she will be joined by Mr. Edward Franco, as well as Cortesia Verge from Washington, I believe, to discuss what we are doing in the system to ensure that our students, when they leave high school, they are successful with anything post-secondary. So that may be the colleges that they attend or any of the careers that they're engaged in outside of KCKPS. On the screen, very small, you can see the names of our KISA district leadership team, as well as the team members of the 5 outcome areas. All of these individuals have collaborated, planned, implemented, and monitored and supported the systems level work in these 5 outcome areas over the last 5 years, as well as helped us develop the KISA accreditation report, which you all have access to within this board agenda item. It is a lengthy document, which is why you have a month to review it, along with our OVT, which we sent today. So they have access to our OVT report, so they're prepared for their visit. At this time, I'm finished with the update, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Again, board, all of the documents, I know some of them were hard to read on the screen, but we do have access to them within board docs. So if you haven't had the chance to, you can pull those up and enlarge them so we can read them. Thank you, Mr. Anderson, for the information. Would open the floor for any questions from board members.
I don't have any questions. I started reading the report, and it's amazing to me how it's very enlightening with such positive and direct notifications of implementation as far as showing the progress that we're making within our school district. So I just want to say thank you, because I haven't finished it, but what I've seen, we're doing a great job in bringing forward by educating our students and working throughout the entire district. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you to the team, yeah. And I would just say, encourage all board members, if you have the opportunity to join any part of the day, you don't have to be there for the full day on the 29th. But I found it very helpful. I think, Dr. Nguyen, I don't want to speak for you, but it was just very helpful for me to hear the types of questions that the team was asked and the types of responses that we were able to give. So I'd encourage any of you to attend any or all of that day and hear some information. I think you'd find it very enlightening and tied to the work that we talk about on a monthly basis. So any additional questions or comments? Great. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Appreciate it.
Okay. We'll continue on with our agenda. Next up is item number 10, board policy. We have a couple of items on the agenda. The first one is a third read on the new parent and student handbook. So that is coming back before the board to accept for a third read. If there are any questions or if there is a motion to accept the parent and student handbook for a third read tonight.
So moved.
Second.
It is moved and seconded. Are there comments or questions? Yes, Ms. Russell.
I will just make a comment because I feel very passionate about it. Page 19, around parent visits in schools and classrooms, I feel like I read a lot of negativity and not a lot of solution-oriented practices, like what to do if you have an issue or those types of things. And so I feel that it gives a negative, while it has, we welcome, most of that page is primarily negative around what that looks like. And so while I recognize this is the addition for this year, I will let it move past, but I would like for us to consider how we can put a positive spin on some things, provide solutions, or talk about how parents can get engaged in their classrooms, how they can have conversations with principals that are effective. So that is just the feedback I have there.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Additional comments?
I'd just like to say I enjoyed reading what Dr. Stubblefield, as well as our board president, your comments in the opening portion of that. And I love the North Star page, which was very informative in letting them know the direction that we will be moving in as a district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Drew. Additional comments? If not, there is a motion and a second to accept for a third read. Ms. Smith, roll call.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes.
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
I also meant to say it looks beautiful, because I know that meant a lot to me too. I was passionate about that too. So Rachel, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. Our next agenda item is recommended to accept for third read proposed changes to policies IDAB. These are back before the board. Mr. Goheen, any additional information to share tonight?
Yeah, I'm just for clarity's sake, and I'm not sure this is necessary, but we also had policy LED that we are merely deleting. Technically, this would be the third read of the deletion of that policy too, and to be consistent with our practice, we probably ought to include that in the motion as well.
Thank you. Ms. Smith will make sure that we note that in any motion that comes forward. Any questions on the third read?
And I did have one other comment before you guys take motion. I know that Ms. Russell had made some comments about trying to put a deadline for reporting and some other language in there. We don't have any language to propose this time. I think that's something we just need to keep working forward on because we weren't sure exactly what we wanted in terms of what that report looks like. So if the board has ideas on specific things that you guys would look for in terms of annual reports or other sort of data points, whether that's included in a policy or just some sort of expectation from the board from a calendaring standpoint, I think you still need to look at that. But without board consensus on it, I didn't have a way to place that in the policy. So.
Thank you, Mr. Goheen. Any questions on that, Dr. Nguyen?
What policy are you Speaking of,
This is policy IDAB, which includes things like, let me make sure I got the right one here.
it's not on here.
Yeah, it should be.
It is.
It's the support program.
Yeah, the support programs, drug education, student mental health, dropout prevention.
Ms. Russell had previously
Right.
talked about having some reports on mental health issues, on drug issues and stuff like that. For some reason, it's not showing up on mine either. Thank you.
So you don't have any language to recommend, is that what you're
I
saying?
don't, because I don't know what the board, I mean, I think you could do it one of two ways down the line. One, the board could simply set an expectation that you guys want information related to specific issues that would be covered by this policy, but without guidance from the board on what types of information you're actually wanting and what, and the frequency of that reporting, it's difficult to put into a policy.
Okay,
That's the issue.
all right. So, Mr. Lopez, is that something we'll put on the agenda for the retreat?
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah,
And you could
Yeah.
cover more than just
Right.
this one with that.
Thank you.
great. Ms. Smith, if we could please make sure we take a note of that for the retreat.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, Dr. Nguyen, I won't be at the retreat, but Greg and I discussed him and I getting together to talk about kind of what, in my mind, I envision, so he may bring ideas to the retreat for language that to the comments that I have.
Shall bring your ideas,
Yes, so,
if you want them considered.
yes,
And you can always forward them all to us,
gotcha.
not replying to you.
Right.
Correct, Mr. Lopez? Mr.
Absolutely. And I frankly, I would encourage any board member, if you've got ideas along those lines, to, to share those, or you can give them to the board clerk or to myself, or just share them among the board. Just avoid any interaction with them so you don't get into a meeting, but sharing the information is fine.
Thank you. Ms. Page?
Yeah, is there ESSER funds to provide educational programs to cover that? Because our kids were traumatized. They've been through things because of COVID. I don't know if monies are appropriated to offer programs like we used to do the gang unit, we used to do the drug. Is there monies that could go to programs, educational programs?
Yeah, so there's money in our general budget that's allocated for that. At the April 11th meeting, we will bring forth what the board has approved previously for ESSER, what has been spent, what is left. But prior to that, we can also provide what we already pay for out of general funds, or what we are paying for out of, what's being paid for out of ESSER funds will be included in that report on April 11th.
Additional questions?
I'll make a motion to accept for third read the proposed changes to policy IDAB and the deletion of policy LED.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith, roll call, please.
Yolanda Clark,
Yolanda Clark, yes.
Maxine Drew,
Maxine Drew, yes.
Janie Humphries,
Janie Humphries, yes.
Randy Lopez,
Randy Lopez, yes?
Wanda Brownlee Page,
Wanda Brownlee Page, yes.
Rachel Russell,
Rachel Russell, yes.
Dr. Nguyen.
Dr. Nguyen, yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Again, just a reminder for tomorrow's Enough is Enough forum at J.C. Harmon, and this Saturday's listening and learning tour for the board at 1 p.m. at Wyandotte High School. Hope to see as many of you at both of those as we can. Other than that, you'll see upcoming agenda items. With that, thank you, board. Dr. Stubblefield, this meeting is adjourned.